All right, let's continue. Let's see what we got. We set our drone group here in his home world to attack one of his colonies there, and it's managed to do that without losses. Some minor damage, it appears, but it managed to shoot away half its ammo and most of its supplies, so I guess I will not attack another colony with that group. Let's decide what to do with it later. That was this combat. There was a light cruiser there and a freighter that was standing there. There's the number 2. All those point defense guns did not manage to save this. The planet was 1 weapon platform 1 and then 3 bowmen. And you basically just had 2 mines on there. Oh, look at what this ship is doing. I thought it was going to fly over here somewhere because I was approaching from there, but my drones are actually approaching from this way. So he must have set this thing's strategy to protect the planet. Or stay near planet. Yeah, there the ships go, there my drones go, shooting at the... Oh, my drones are some are this way, some are that way, okay, I see. My drones are shooting at it, and it can actually take down a lot of these missiles. Not one has gotten through yet. The planet has been disarmed already, so it's not a target anymore, not a priority target. And look at how long it takes. This is where most of our ammunition went, and most of our supply went. Right into the point defense of this thing. Oh, 1 missile got through, 250 damage. Ah, and there's another one. It's some engines though, so all the point defense guns are still online. Doesn't help that they're all shooting offset from another, so there's a constant stream of missiles approaching this. Would be better if this was one big volley, but hard to make that happen. Eventually, missiles got through, and we managed to get the ship killed. But most of our supply is gone on that drone group. Then there was the planet in Canopus. We managed to eliminate 59 mines and didn't take no damage. And the planet is still remaining, and so is our fleet. It's disarmed. So that worked beautifully as well. As review on this planet here were some 12 weapon platforms. I think, no, 11 I think it was. And we have a lot of ships approaching this thing, so I don't think this planet's point defense is actually going to hold up that long. Our destroyer has parked itself right there. Some of the drone groups are flying circuits around the place where they're supposed to be. Oh yeah, there's some missiles going through. So on the planet there's 4 mineral miners and a spaceport left. That's good. This Topaz 2 destroyer must also just be set to retreat to near planet for safety, which is absolutely the right thing to do with this. I was trying to attack this thing with a boarding ship, and I was counting on it not staying near the planet and just dumbly attacking me, so that was actually a good move. Okay, then we leave the planet there to be taken next turn. And we killed a Kantara frigate that was sneaking around our space here. Oh, hey look, a Kantara colony ship. I have just, after I processed, taken a look at this turn again, and, well, there's some news. The Kantara appear to have fully allied with the Federation here now. You show the Kantara's graph, I'm blinking it. Its attack levels are shooting up right to next to where all the others of that Federation are, the Gulag, the Solar Raiders. So it appears that they have fully joined that Federation, and I should basically consider them an enemy. Diplomatically, I'm not going to be treating them that way just yet. I think we have no, we don't even have trade going, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm not going to be likely to accept any of his ships in my territory here. Or I should probably kill that other scout of his. What's that? Another colony ship. Might well turn that around, but let's see. Give another attack order for that, and you can just stay there for the moment. Gonna be a few turns until they can actually catch up to all of these targets. Kantara colony ships are not armed, I hope. No, they're not. Okay. Yes, we are getting full designs of everything now. There was actually a lot of happening out game in diplomacy channels. Oh yeah, look at who's also micro-optimizing his colony ships a little bit. Nice, I like it. So there was a lot of things happening in diplomacy out of this game. We still have the traitor amongst their midst, the Slopino Raiders, giving us all the intel, and the Eee Consortium here was actually playing some 5D chess and sending a screenshot of, I don't know, some system from this game, which you could see because there were some Gulag ships in it. And he had edited in a fleet of his with 14 ships that does not actually exist in game. So he was just casually sharing this screenshot, which was apparently of this game, to illustrate some other unrelated issue about mod development or something. And he had edited in a fleet to make it seem that he was stronger than he is. But in actuality, he does not actually have all that many ships. We've gotten the info from our traitor, the Slurpy Raiders, that the E have are trying to focus on building up their economy and not building ships, since they are well in the back between all of these, which seems to be corroborated by the scores. They're having a lot of resources. 84k is almost as much as the two of us. They have by far the most research points, and they have our big planet amount, but only quote-unquote 23 ships. How much combat force there is in 706 units remains to be seen. If they had 700 empty troops or mines, then there's a lot less combat capability than Mystic has in the, I don't know how many drones he has, in the dozens of large drones that he keeps around. A fleet of 21 and 28 here, for instance. A fighter group from the Gorak, interesting. So, yes. Our poor victim, the Zorn, are still on the receiving end of some sympathies, but it does not appear that they have joined that alliance quite as fully as the Kantara have apparently now, since they're not getting all the tech shared. I'm going to try to put him out of his misery as soon as I can. Our attack fleet has moved on to this place, resupplied, repaired any possible damage. It is entirely possible that he's built more more mines and launched them. So before I land the invasion fleet, maybe I should send in the minesweeper again. To do that, I would need to remove one of the minesweepers here real quick. Send it there and then send it back. We'll just go there, trigger a combat where it hopefully doesn't die because he hasn't built any fighters. And then after a turn, I can send in the invasion fleet. And we capture some mines. You do still have the full cargo complement. Yes, yes. And the drone groups are still here as before. One little drone here. Let's go send that there real quick. Got that warp point. What are we going to do with the other stuff here? We have this one Nero group that I'm going to join into the main fleet, since we're going to be up against his homeworld next. It appears that he's building fighters. I think he did not have 15 fighters in orbit last turn. It appears he is building 3 or 4 fighters every turn, because there's 3 here now. But just those 4 weapon platforms are of course not going to be able to defend his world very well. I'm going to do another simulation for that attack, and then I'm going to just attack. What I can't see is how many mines he has. So it might well be that I'm running into a minefield that is bigger than I can absorb with one minesweeper if I'm using the second to sweep that planet again there this turn. But it seems that he has, since my announcement that I wanted to take him over, started building fighters. 15 of which are in orbit here. I mean, they're somewhat effective if they can get one of their little plasma missiles off. One of those drones is more or less crippled. Okay. Send the Hawk in to head off that fleet as well, the second one. And then the boarding ship will just remain here in standby in case I come across any more targets to board. So we're gonna give you an order to wait. I'm just going to send it there and can stay there. We're not going to be invading it this turn as well, so we're just going to blockade it. Actually, why can't we invade it this turn? We don't need to invade this planet first. Invading his homeworld is much more important, and I can most definitely reach it and still have some movement points to spare. Yeah, let's do that, shall we? Take that second minesweeper along again. Send in the attack. Trigger it not just once but twice. Oops. Just in case my drones end up chasing some fighter or something and don't actually finish disarming the planet. And then you can go and attack that place as well. Oh, wait. I don't have enough troops in there. There was the thing where he did not actually have enough militia troops or any militia troops spawning when I invaded this planet of his. But he might have well fixed that by now. Okay, so initial plan after all. Attack there, then stay there. You just attack once, I guess. And you can spare that minesweeper again. Yeah. The thing is, if I'm sending it back to this planet, it's not going to be in a position to join up with either one of the other fleets. But there's actually an order here to give it an order to join a fleet. The thing is, it will just join the attack groups then. It'll join the first task force of that fleet, which is not generally what you want. Yeah, just go there. Just go visit that planet again and sweep any mines that might have appeared by the time this guy comes in. Then you can join the invasion fleet later. What are they building? Some mines. I think I just wanted some mines for defense in case he sends one of his destroyers along or something. And then he has those 7 ships. Actually, I think he might have built this light cruiser as well. Because he did not have Destiny 2 4 designs, right? He had number 3 designs. New is the Quantum Engines. The Quantum Engines 1. Did he get those from the Gulag, which also have the Quantum Engines? Or the Federation, I suppose. Because these, even Quantum Engines 1 are very expensive to build. They are 120 minerals and 80 radioactives. And he only reaches 9 speed. That's not going to be enough to actually catch any of my drones. My drones move at 11 speed. My destroyers do as well. 11 speeds. And look at those ion engines don't cost 120 minerals to build. They just cost 40. Not 120, but 40. They are so much cheaper, and I don't see the engines giving him any benefit in here. I mean, yeah, you might have 9 moves instead of 6 or 7, but still. Don't see that making a difference. So is he building this on emergency build or something, and then a couple fighters in addition to that? Maybe he's just refitting them? I don't know. Or maybe he's building the fighters out of the station, or was building the ship out of the station, was building the fighters from the planets. That might be. So I'm going to be attacking that this turn. What am I going to do with these Neros? Just going to stand them there, I guess. There's nothing in this side system as well to attack. Just has a couple colonies here. Single Banshee. Planet shields, a bunch of mixed facilities. There's bad values for minerals and radioactives, but I guess if you're really pressed for materials, you would have to take that. He is a methane breather, so it is a breather for him at least. It's not like he can just rely on other planets with maybe a little better values. Yeah, he was also limited to gas giants, so planets like this one wouldn't have been an option for him. Too bad for him. Okay, then he's building fighters here. Yeah, he's just stacking up a couple of defenses so these can't be knocked over easily. That's okay. We can still knock them over easily if we put a drone group like this together. Good. Then there was some other talk between turns. Mystic has been relayed our discussion that the Gulag and the E have been scheming to build a drone that can counter his. They were just going to make a drone that is essentially all point defense. They were just putting, I think it was 4 flak cannons on a drone or something. And the flak cannons can actually shoot at other drones, since drones are units, or bomblet missiles can shoot as well. Point defense can generally shoot at units. So they were actually pretty effective at keeping the missiles at bay and then shooting at the drones in turn. And the flak cannons are direct fire and have reasonably good range. I think the bomblets have 30 range more. Yeah, they have 150. Flak only has 130, but they don't have quite the perfect technology in point defense. They don't have point defense. What is it, 10 or 11 as we have? And the bomblet missiles, of course, have the disadvantage that they are seeking weapons and can be shot down by other flags, so by other point defense. So it makes sense for them to use the direct fire flag for that purpose. So they came up with a hard counter for his drones, actually. Of course, drones that have nothing on them but some flag guns are easy to counter themselves, so I guess we can just counter that by interspersing a few point defense, not a point defense, but direct fire weapons into our drone groups. For instance, just taking this and moving Oh, I don't actually have APVs, but something like it. And some guns. Do we have ECM? Not on this one. Oh, we do. We do have ECM on this one. And put in a second armor plate or something. Something like this. Only with APB, not level 2 lasers with 60 range. Okay. Then it had appeared to us that in the tech estimates for our opponents, they were taking up high energy discharge weapons. This one shows a level 4 for Gulag. Shows a level 5 for the E. Shows a level 7 for the Slurpee Raiders. If they get wave motion guns, which might be available at their level yet, I'm not exactly sure, then we might want to consider building bigger ships. Because wave motion guns are, of course, the strongest gun in the game. They're very big, very long refire time, but also very big damage and very high range. They would definitely be overkill against drones, and also have trouble hitting them. But they would be quite effective as point defense against ships or as weapons to put on weapon platforms. So we are trying to come up with a counter for that. Been thinking about that a little. Otherwise, I expect movement is just going to get into their little front over here in the near future. If you look at this, he has 6 mines on this war point. This system is entirely mystics, and he doesn't have anything on there. Actually, we do have sight on this war point. You see the hexes are green. Why do we have sight here, but I don't see anything in this sector? Am I not sharing cloaked ships or sensor range with Mystic? Share view of all its ships, including cloaked with the other. Yes, we are. Weird, why am I seeing that? When there's nothing there that should be seeing anything. Who knows? Okay, let's look at attack. We are 100% done. 20,000 out of 20,000 points for cloaking. So I guess do we still need to put anything in there? I'll just leave it at 0%, and I will see if it finishes next turn. But then we're gonna need to make a decision on what to take next. There's a few things we want. First, let's go through the rest of our report here. So we did that. The combats. We got a new colony in our home system. And then we built a bunch of stuff. Some of these medium troops are finishing in a tax-rack system to invade the homeworld of the Zorn. And we built a new colonizer to the home system. For a rock planet that was in here, so we can just immediately send you there. You're also going to be methane breathing, so you don't need to load population. Oh, there it is. Our first slave transport full with methane breathing slaves. The only methane worlds in here we haven't actually colonized yet, but that is going to be coming soon. So you can go and head towards our homeworld. You're going to be there next turn. When you are there, I'm going to be finishing that. And then I can have this ship colonize and immediately drop some methane breathers on that world next turn. Good. What do we have here? That's our troop transports. This is the third troop transport, and you are going to need to collect from this source and this source. Yes, you can I'll go there. These fighters keeping an eye on this planet. Is he building anything more here? Yes, he appears to be building more mines. Just means I need to build. Hmm. So we don't actually know how many mines he has, especially if he keeps building these. You can sweep, what, 60 mines per turn? We'll just have you go in there. If not, well, we'll just have to build another one, I guess. In fact, you are building quite a few minesweepers. We are going to certainly need them sooner or later. And you also have a free shipyard that we could use to build something like another population transport, not troop transport or population transport, to carry more slaves home. Well, there's just 8 million remaining here. So I guess we already carried most home. We need to reproduce a little more. I think reproduction is actually helped by good conditions on the planet. Not sure if happiness or actually the conditions are the effect, or if both have effects. But yeah. So there is a spaceport on this world. We didn't actually have another spaceport in the system. I'm getting the no spaceport icon displayed here. Yeah, okay, so I'll wait for you to repair this. It's hanging on by a thread at 6 out of 1000 HP. Planets don't really repair themselves very quickly, so maybe do that more quickly if we repair the space yard first. How fast things get repaired, or what gets repaired in what order, you can actually dictate of these repair priority lists. And normally you would expect that repair would be the first thing to get repaired in order to actually repair the rest faster, but that's not the case. So you go ahead and repair your space yards first, please. Anything else you should do afterwards? I guess resupply. What category does the spaceport fall under? I would guess resupply would be the closest. Patient support, I would expect things like the urban pacification center, the climate control facility. Who knows? Space, you can do much the same. The thing I like to have on top is the base repair yard, since that usually has the highest ratio of repair rate to the component cost to repair in them than space yards. And let's also take the ship varieties of them up to the top on the repair list. Ship, space yard, move to top, move to top. Oh, there you go. First repair bases and ships, then space yard bases and ships to repair whatever else comes afterwards. You could nerd yourself out a little bit on the order with which to repair these. I imagine you want to have your defense ships or your economy repaired before you want planet creators or some fancy stuff like that to be repaired, but the only thing that really matters is repairing the repair things first. Additionally, you should repair the repair components on the repair ships first and repair bases, which would be construction. Silver manipulation can certainly go down. Religious is basically just combat sensors. Ways that matter. Miscellaneous cargo vehicle control is of course important, so things actually do anything. Sensors don't usually take much in the way of repair capacity, but enable you to see things. But otherwise, I think that's fine. It's just important to have construction up first so that things actually get repaired first. Things that can repair get repaired first and therefore get repaired faster. Because it seems like it's repaired this radioactive extraction facility now, which we don't really need. I'm not entirely sure if the facilities are offline, if they're red or beyond 50% damage or something. And it does not appear that the space yard is actually working. I can't select ships. I have a construction rate of 300, which would be low even for a lower level space yard facility. And the penalties from Planetium. Okay. Our Scouty drone can stay where it is. Yeah, what are we going to do with you? We are not going to be invading his homeworld anytime soon. So for now, unless he has some militia troops here next turn that this troop transport can beat, I'm going to wait for the troops that I'm building up there, and I'm going to be blockading his homeworld so he does not get income from it for the next turns until my invasion fleet is there. In the meantime, I'm going to be glassing his other colonies or conquering them with the invasion fleet that we have here, the small one. You know what? Just keep an eye on the warp point and that colony for now, and then you can decide if that's a good opportunity to attack. It looked like most of our supply and most of our ordnance was just shot against the point defense ship that was in orbit, not the actual planet. So you're probably still able to raise one of these planets. What he needs to build in order to defend against this is just a couple mines. And I can't just run in with a couple drones. Okay. Oh no, I need to see that it's 3 in the morning when I'm recording this. So let's change that back to the game date up there. Then I don't have any ships that require my orders anymore. I have, right, the new planet in our home system here. A small oxygen place. Obviously we don't have anything that can breathe oxygen, so now I'm just going to call you a research colony, but in actuality I will build an Atmo mod plant. I guess I don't need a value improvement plant because it's 73%. It's gonna be a while until that matters. Even if you wait for all the 70 turns of this Atmo mod plant. The value improvement plan would just give you an extra 7% of each. That would not be much more worth mining than otherwise. Only if you're really strapped for minerals, which we're not. So go ahead and actually build a research center. Then there was a second planet that was out of things to build. He was here. And he just finished a singular drone. Okay. How about you build more drones? Switch to this Pious design, which has armor plates on it. I was actually discussing the drone designs with my ally here. Let's see if I can figure out what we were talking about. No, I was just talking about putting some armor plates on there, which this design has. Has 2 point defense weapons, as the ECM. Have an extra ordnance since they actually shoot a lot. And that's fine. We're talking about the making a decision between emissive plates and just plain plates. I was arguing in favor of these since they had more HP, and in favor of the ion engine since they were cheaper and don't actually get us faster than the quantitarine engines. Although that was not the case anymore with quantitarine 3s, right? No, still 11 speed. I know I looked this up last turn. I cancel this then. So quantitarine 3s don't actually make our drones faster just yet. Might well be that we can capture some ships, if at all possible. You know what? Should I just have this ship join the fleet in a separate task group, task force even, and set you to capture enemy ships? And there will just be one ship that will try to capture. That will not be targeted by the rest of our fleet. Let's see if that works out. I'm going to need to sim this again. He has this little fleet here of a Dasty 2-4. Three Dasty 2s. A Dasty with a Y. And then a 4 and a cruiser. A number 4 light cruiser. That mini deliverer doesn't count. Because it's a non-combatant. And it was at 18 of his fighters. And 2 weapon platforms. Okay, keep that in your head real quick. Set cargo. I know I simulated this last turns, but it's been 2 days for me since these turns are taking a little longer. So I'm going to simulate it again. And I'm curious to see if that idea I had with the boarding ship in the fleet works. Okay, add vehicles. No, not a second planet. Add vehicles. I didn't even realize you could put 2 planets in there, man. We have these, one of those, one of yours. Topaz 2, 18 of the fighters. And for good measure, give it some extra targets. Station at that transporter. Versus our fleet of some 35 ships. There's 35 drones. And these 3 ships. Don't actually remember if it actually was 35, but it sounds plausible. Set fleet. Create fleet. You will go in there. You go in there. You want to capture enemy ships. Capture enemy ships. You want to disarm planet at maximum range. You also want to disarm planet at maximum range. And for completion's sake, let's put in our minesweepers. You of course said to run away, but since you don't have any weapons, you should do that anyway. Okay, let's sim. Oh boy, for some reason, this ship starts way closer to the enemy than the rest of the fleet. So, okay, that just immediately dies then. If I stop this, then the positions are going to be not set actually. So the point of this place vehicles button was it so you could arrange these ahead of time, but apparently it's not the case. I'm gonna respawn that ship real quick here. Oh no, not for Empire 1, Empire 2, please. That spawns in a more sensible location. Is it going to be able to take one of these? Okay, now it's spawned here at the edge of the sector. I can deal with that. That is a massive drone group. Oh, the fighters are retreating because they're out of supplies. Okay, weird. Same for the drones. Okay, restarting our combat like this does not really work. Let's reset this. Or reopen the window from the start. Not that I think it matters. Romulus, set cargo. Remove all my stuff. We add his stuff. Was it even Banshee 3s or was it Banshee 1s? Well, if I can defeat the 3s, I can certainly defeat the 1s, right? Scroll up. If those, one of those, one of those, one of those, one of those. And Space Yard and 11 or 12 more of these fighters. And then on the attacker side, my stuff again. Yeah, whatever. No, I added a drone group of 9, right? I was at 35 drones or something. And we already added the boarding ship to Minesweepers, Great Fleet, and a couple task forces. Warhawk drones. Set strategy on offense and defense because I don't know what they each count as in the simulation. I'm gonna set you in there and you in there real quick. Okay. Let's see. They spawn in more sensible locations this time. Okay, the drone group is lagging a little bit behind, but appears to be approaching the escort spot for that ship there. Where in the world is the boarding ship? What's behind here? Okay, I can live with that. Exactly where I want it to be. Look at these fighters getting destroyed. See here, when the fighters are getting destroyed, you can see these explosions on the way to the fighter. That is the seeker missiles, the bomblet missiles that are already flying there, that are self-destructing halfway. So it appears we are shooting quite a bit of overkill to these. And now our head ship has taken damage and is retreating because its weapons are offline. And with it, all the drones are retreating. That is the Achilles heel of sending things along in a fleet formation. Now the boarding ship is of course going to run straight into all these ships and it's going to die rather horribly. What is it actually heading for? It wasn't heading straight for anything. Anyway. It appears that the destroyers are quite the Achilles heel here, but let's go back to our real fleet. 36 drones it has even. That's why we gave it a different formation to consider. We shouldn't have this on wall, but we should have this on a formation that has the task force leader as far back as possible and all the other core ships in front of it. Let's go through our options. Formation task forces. I want an M formation because L formations have that extra spacing in between, and doom stacking as far as possible is what you want. So anything that has the lead ship relatively in front and then the first couple groups in front of it. Column or an option, I guess. Diamond is more in front, dome is not good. Flying V, always popular. Has the groups a little bit in front. 5, 6, 7 are then more or less be next to and behind the lead ship, but everything else is in front of the lead ship. That's very good. It was more warlike. This is more warlike. Pincer is much like the Flying V, but with more focus on just balling up on one side and the other. And the first two groups here, and then the third and fourth, are also on the same level or behind the lead ship, so let's not take that. Shields, or diamond-like, and wall is of course the default, with the lead ship in the center front. And if there's really too many, then number 14 to 20 can go in front of it. Okay, so Flying VM it is. Attack formation, Flying VM, defense formation, Flying VM. I think we can't do much more to try and discourage that from happening. If a lead ship dies or gets disabled, then the entire fleet will retreat. That's just the rules. Or can you set that to not be the case? Let's go to the strategy settings. Break formation if core ships lost. If core ships lost, everything counts as a core ships in our current iteration, so I don't think that's going to do much of anything. If there was break formation, if task force leader was disabled, then I would definitely click that on. And it even is on, so it doesn't do much. Okay. Tech fleet's been reshuffled. Let's hope that works. If not, we have a couple turns to regroup ourselves. We're going to go just there. And I had all these drones built over here that I do probably want to launch rather than sooner. For eventual reinforcements that I'm going to need somewhere. So I'm gonna set all these guys to launch the drones. You just have the one over there. Yeah, we set you to repeat build now. You're also not a repeat build. Or is it that whenever I changed something here, I turned repeat build off again? That might well be. You're gonna finish soon, you're gonna finish soon, you're gonna finish in the nearer and not quite as nearer future. None of you had any drones finished. How many drones did you actually have done? 5, that's fine. You guys are building some as well. You're not. And you are also building colony ships. Wisely. You need more colony ships. You are building research centers. You have drones to launch. 5 pretty drones, please. 5 drones, pretty, please. Anybody in a home system with drones to spare? No. Everybody's building stuff, and the homeworld is still building a few colony ships. You have a mentionable amount. You do. Because you're fast away from everywhere, anywhere. And you're building other things. Okay. Then we have some reinforcements on the way now. I added the ship to the fleet later, so I think I need to re-give it the order. Move there, and now headspace again. It will not stop there again. Because that boarding ship now counts as also having orders. Good. Then I'm going to save the game, process, and see what happened.